Mundane Man here again, and today I'm going to be installing a security camera system for our house. Now the system that I have is not one that I specifically chose or did any research on. I was the lucky bidder, I guess if you will, at a silent auction that for an organization, charitable organization that my wife was involved in, or is involved. I can't remember. Anyways, so I actually won the bid. I can't remember what I paid for it, but it is actually the Swann security made smarter system, and it comes with a DVR and 2 cameras, and the DVR has the capability of up to 4 cameras. You can see here the 4 ports for the cameras, and if the camera supported it, you could even do audio if you wanted on, because it comes with the audio ports as well. Now this has a 1 terabyte capacity, so as it's recording video, it will record it over time and fill up the hard drive, and then as the hard drive gets full, it'll just start automatically deleting footage and then overwrite with the new footage as time goes on. I suspect you could probably get about 90 days worth of storage, maybe even more depending on how much activity is on the cameras with this device. And it came with 2 cameras. Now these are actually, they're motion sensed 1080p cameras, and autofocus. They do have night vision, so fairly comprehensive camera for the price and the quality. And it's got a power feed and a coaxial feed for the camera. Now again, because I didn't choose this system specifically or do any research and go out and buy it myself, it's probably not a system I would have bought for myself. Reason being is it's all a hardwired system, which is good and bad in certain circumstances. So you can see you've got the cord with the ends on it. So you actually have to hardwire back to the DVR with the cameras. So if you're putting the cameras outside, you're somehow going to get the wires on the inside to connect back to the DVR, and I'll show you how I went about it in a already finished house and how to get the wires back to the DVR. Essentially I'm going to end up putting this unit in the garage, and another downfall I guess with this system would be the fact that you need a hard cabled LAN connection to your network to view the cameras remotely, in the sense that I can go back to my computer, bring up their software that they provide, and view the cameras from my workstation, as opposed to actually physically logging onto this box. You can attach a monitor and have a mouse and log into the box and look at the cameras, but that's just not that convenient. So I'll show you how I resolve the issue of how I'm going to get a hard cabled connection back to this with my home network to put this on the network and somehow make it seem like it's a wireless device. And spoiler alert, I'm basically going to put a Wi-Fi extender in the garage that has an RJ45 connection, so you can connect this to that extender, and then it'll then be attached to our network. So the software that comes with the system is actually fairly comprehensive. It's a software that is quite similar to the camera systems I use at work. So it does the recording based on motion. You can set it up to email you anytime there's any kind of activity on a camera. You can set up different recording parameters. So it is quite a comprehensive software that comes with this. So I was impressed with that. I'm basically just, this is not going to be a how-to video. I'm just going to go film the footage of me putting it in and how I ended up where the devices are going to be finally positioned, and maybe show you some of the footage. Another nice thing about this whole system is it does come with software that you can put on your tablet, you can put on your phone, so that you can log into your cameras and have a look at them. Say you get an email of an alert and you're at work, the software will allow you to look at the cameras and even go back to the recorded footage to see what exactly happened at that time. We're going to carry on and get everything installed and have a look at the camera footage and the software, and let's get at it. Okay, so the first camera I'm going to put probably up in that corner
I probably would have preferred it over there. However, as you can see with the soffit, I got to get the cable into the garage that way, and I think that would be too much work. I'd have to figure out how to take down the soffit and everything, and I don't know if I really want to get into that, so it's just as easy to tuck it up in that corner, and then you know, you can capture the door and the step and people walking up. The second camera I've already put up. So I placed it up there, captures the driveway here, and boy what a bear that was to get, because obviously I put it right in the corner. So to get the cable across the attic, I had to go as far deep as I could into the attic, crawling on my hands and knees, trying to reach at the cable back in the corner there, but I managed to get it. I got to go up into the hatch again to bring the cable from the other camera over. And basically what I'm going to do is put the DVR right here, bring the wires down the wall into the DVR. I've got an outlet here, I've got an extender with a RJ45 port on it to connect the DVR into that, so it's attached to the network. So on this camera I had to have a change of plan. I had to put it on this corner facing the door because there was no way I was getting through that soffit because it's kind of over the house a bit. So I had already drilled a hole to discover that. I put my little camera in there, and now I'm gonna have to fix that somehow. Now the worst part of the job. Got it. Connection's been made. Now I'm just gonna tie up the wire a bit in here. Woo, doggy, it's hot. Okay, so I think everything's done up in the attic here of the garage. There's my spool of excess wire, and it runs back towards that vent. Not the neatest job I've ever done, but this was a crap job from the word go, so I see I've compressed a lot of my insulation up here. I'm not sure if I need to stir it up or get someone to blow some more in here or what, but I'll worry about that for another day. So back at that, where you can see the cardboard of the soffit vent, I drilled a hole into the ceiling, and see over there where my wires are coming down for the cameras. So that's all we're going to do in the attic for now, I hope, because it is hotter than bejesus up here. That's where the camera wires are coming down. I'm going to fill that hole with something, maybe some drywall mud or silicone or something, just to seal it off. And then I'm going to put my PVR on top of the shelf. Got my wireless extender already programmed and configured, so it should be just a matter of installing everything now. Okay, everything's hooked up. Cameras are hooked up in the back and powered. It's got a network connection, and this thing's up and running. Now, a couple things I'm going to change. I need to get a longer Cat 6 cable. I'm going to tidy up this excess camera cable, and I think that'll be pretty much it. So the nice thing about the software is you can put it on a tablet or phone, and through your home network you can see your cameras. And if you look, I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but you can see me in the camera right now. This is a live view. So this is what I'm going to use to adjust the camera. So I have a visual. I don't have to get up and down the ladder 100 times to make sure that the cameras are pointing the direction I want. Okay, now that we've got our cameras set up where we want and the DVR operational, let's look at the software a little bit here. So the first area we're going to go into is called the main view, which is a live view of the cameras. And this is my DVR, and if I drill down here, I can see the cameras that I've defined. I've got front door I'm going to drag into that box, and I got driveway that I can drag into that box. So this is the live view of the camera system right now. You can double click on one of the cameras and you get a better view, and this is the view of our front door. And I'll double click again, and then we'll double click on the driveway camera and you get a view of what's showing out there. If I double click once more, it'll take me back to this grid. Okay, now that we've seen the live view or the main view of the cameras, let's look at the recorded data. So if we go back into the control panel and look at the remote playback, this gives you the 4 grid quadrant again. Here's our DVR. I can open up and drill down to the camera, so you can see I've got front door and driveway. So let's look at some video footage from today. So if I click on the 18th, which is today, and I'm going to select the mainstream, which is the highest quality streaming of the data, and because our cameras are set to motion, I'm going to select motion in the file type, and then I'm just going to drag and drop a camera into the grid. And you can see now here these yellow bars are actual recorded information. So it's timestamps of when data has been recorded. So as soon as I had opened this camera, dragged it, it started playing. It's playing from about midnight 03, and it's playing some of the recorded information from last night. Now the sensitivity of the camera is such that any bugs flying by seem to affect the camera. So let's go down here. While it's playing, we can select a certain timestamp. And I'm going to view the camera from when at 14:08, and you can see now we had a delivery at 14:08, and you can see that the delivery guy he rang the bell and is now handing off the package. I can also come down here and I can speed up that video and fast forward it 2 times, 4 times, and 8 times, and that way you can speed through video a little bit quicker than just watching it in real time. So you get a good view of anybody passing by. You can also synchronize the playback of more than one camera. So we have 2 cameras. I've already dragged and dropped the front door into window 1, where you can see the recorded information down here. Now I'm going to drag and drop driveway into window 2, where you can see the recorded bars down here. So if you wanted to see an event from start to finish, say camera 2 picked up something in the driveway and then the person came to the front door, you can synchronize that by clicking on the synchronize playback over here. First you have to stop the play, click on synchronize playback, and then start the play again, and it should start right at the first recorded event. And you can see the driveway had an event right at midnight, and the next event for the door cam was a little bit further ahead, so I can just click ahead and we can synchronize both of that playback. Let's click on something that happened, like that delivery from earlier. If I go over here and click on that bar there, it will synchronize the playback and show the playback of both activities on the camera. And I'm going to speed up the playback so it happens faster. So you can see somebody pulled up on our driveway, that same delivery guy from earlier. He's grabbing his package. Not that package, the box that he delivered. And you can see the other camera now opened up to show him coming up to the front door. So you get a whole timestamp of both cameras in synchronization as to exactly what happened. So overall, doing video playback is quite easy just by looking at the different timestamps. You can even zoom in on one camera in full screen, unclick the synchronous playback, and then just play back the one camera. So it always defaults on the date to midnight to do the first time-stamped recorded information in that period, but you can click on anywhere where these yellow bars are and get playback information from that time. So you can see I'm looking at 11:27 this morning.
Okay, now that we've looked at main view or the live view of the cameras, which is this image here, and then the remote playback with all the different recorded timestamps. Now let's look at the control panel again, and we're going to look at group device management quickly. And basically this is the definitions within our DVR to pick up the different camera recording information that we want. So we're going to go into the tools here, and this will give us a display window showing the first thing, which is the live view of the cameras. And you can define different parameters on here, like you can name your camera, which I named front door. And the second camera, you can see I named it driveway. And it's enabled, and you can determine where you want the timestamp and the camera name on it. You can also create a privacy zone if you wish. So in this particular area, you can see on our door camera that my camera also picks up my neighbor's front door. Well, he may say to me, you know, I'm really not that comfortable with you shining your camera on it, so I can create a privacy zone and exclude out his door like this, and that way when I hit save here, it'll basically block out that area of the camera, so any video activity that happens will not show a visible sign of his front door. So that's one option you can do for creating a privacy zone. I'm just going to clear that off and save that for now. And then there's different record options you can define, some of the recording parameters. The stream mode is an interesting one where you can have two different streams. You can have mainstream and you can have substream. Substream is a lower resolution images, so that if you are connecting via your smartphone or your tablet to look at the cameras, you can use the double stream feature so that you look at the lower resolution pictures, so that on low bandwidth situations you can still view your cameras effectively. You can also set a schedule as to when you want your cameras to record. You can have a camera recording all the time if you want. It just uses up a lot more of your disk space, but if that is a feature that you want, you can set it up so a camera may record all night without any motion activated. I have our camera set up so they're specifically motion activated, which is under alarm here. And you can see there's a motion feature, and both cameras are set on only recording when motion is detected, and it will actually start recording or save the recorded information just prior to the motion activity, and then between 30 seconds and 1 minute after the motion activity if there's no motion detected. Another nice feature about this is similar to the privacy zones, you can define motion zones. So as an example, on my driveway camera, which is on channel 2, I have a tree out here next to the driveway, and when the wind's blowing, the tree is moving and it's causing a lot of motion activity. So what you can do is, in the red areas, that's the area that the camera is going to pick up motion. In this grayed out area, I've eliminated the area where the tree is so that the camera won't keep recording every time the tree gets moved by the wind or whatever. So you're creating a motion detected area that eliminates anything that's in constant motion. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of some of the features of the software that comes with this DVR. It's quite encompassing. I'm surprised at the number of configurations, things you can do with the cameras and the system itself. Some of these other parameters like network, system, and device basically allow you to set up the unit just like you were logged into it directly. So far, I'm very happy with the system and the cameras and the quality. So overall, I think for the price point, this is a really good camera system. No, I don't know about longevity and how long it's going to last, but we shall see, because the time spent to put it in and configure it was somewhat significant. You know, it probably took me a day to get the cameras in. That's mostly the physical aspect of getting the cables everywhere, but I'm looking forward to operating the system and seeing how long it lasts and if there's any glitches in the system, but overall I'm quite happy with it.
Okay, this is the final install. Got the cabling all tidied up and down the wall. I put in a longer Cat 6 cable like I said I was going to, and everything looks kind of tidy. So that's it for this edition of Mundane Man. Until next time, we'll see you later.